There, thanks for joining me today. We are making something really interesting, inspired by a couple of pampered chef friends. Thank you so very much to Sharon Zellen for finding the recipe and Michael Yoakley for inspiring me to give this a try today. We have some fall products that will be introduced September 1st, so I just want to give you a sneak peek of one of them, which is called the Fluted Cake Pan. Look how fun this is, retro color, Tiffany color to be exact. And you certainly can make lots and lots of desserts in there, which I do enjoy, but I really like savory. And so what we're making for you today is something called Fajita Lasagna. So we have some interesting things. I'm going to talk just a little bit about some of the other things we have over here, but right now what we'd like to do is start putting the Fajita Lasagna together using our bundt pan. Now, nicely, I do not have to oil it. This is very interesting. It's non-stick, so you don't have to worry about greasing it even when you're doing cake mixes and such. So we have our, I'm going to post some pictures later so I can show you a little bit about how I prepared the fajita mixture over here using our double burner grill pan and of course our chef's tongs. So what we have going over here is a very nicely seasoned chicken and steak, peppers, nicely seasoned. I used some of our Southwest seasoning, I used some of our 3 onion rub, and I also used some of our bell pepper herb rub. So have that all going. It's all diced to or sliced to the way that I want it. I'm not following the recipe exactly, but what I wanted to add is a black bean mixture. So this is just some canned refried beans, and I added some salsa and some fresh jalapeno to it just to give it a little kick and a little flavor. And then we have lots of shredded cheese. Over here are some things we'll talk about in a little bit, but those are going to be when we're ready to serve. We're going to make some homemade guacamole and some homemade salsa, and I just wanted to show you how easy that was. So right now we're going to start with one of our the largest size biscuit cutter, and we're using a flour tortilla, a larger size flour tortilla, and I'm just simply cutting the center out of the tortilla, and I am going to layer it in our bottom layer. You want that nice big one because you really want the flour tortilla to go up the sides just like so. And now we're simply going to layer. So I'm going to take a little bit of our, and I'm not measuring obviously. I'm just going to take a little bit of the bean mixture to put in the bottom, using one of our bamboo spoons to do it, and then I'm just going to take my classic scraper and move it around just a little bit, like so. I'll take the mixture of chicken, steak, green pepper, red pepper, and onion, and move that around just a little bit like so. Okay, and then I have a mix of shredded cheese, and I don't know about you, but I like a mix of different flavors. So I like to use the Colby Jack because that melts so nicely, but to give it a little more flavor, I add sharp cheddar in there as well. Now this is all grated, hand grated. I love buying the bricks of cheese instead of the already bagged cheese. If you've been to my shows, it's for a few reasons. Flavor is first and foremost, cost is a second, but probably the most important is, anytime they process food, they add things to it that may or may not be very good for you. So we just like brick cheese that we shred, and it just tastes so delicious. Look at this cute little thing. You can make little mini tacos if you would like with your leftover. Okay, we're going to take tortilla number 2, and I'm going to now use a middle-sized biscuit cutter because we don't need quite as big of a hole now. There we go, and we're going to lie that guy in there, and we'll just layer it all again with bean. By the way, I do use organic beans. I don't know if you like refried beans or not. I love using a mix of the black and the regular for flavor, and they're now selling organic refried beans, so you don't have to worry about some not so good things in your refried beans. And as I mentioned, sometimes the flavor is a little bit bland, so I just add a little bit of salsa And today I put a little bit of fresh jalapeno in there as well. Another layer of our fajita mixture. Oh my pan is getting full already. That's one of my downfalls when I cook. I tend to always overfill. And cheese. And then I'm gonna push it down just a little bit. And I'm gonna try to fit one more layer in here. Again, using the medium-sized biscuit cutter, like so. Push down just a little bit so I can get one more full layer in there. And I don't know about you, I hope it turns out as beautiful as Michael's did, because his came out of the pan beautifully, it looked delicious, and I'm sure it tasted delicious. How could it not, with all of this wonderful filling going in here? And I think, Michael, you did a lot nicer job of making it look good. All right, here we go. Some more of the fajita mixture. If you have a little bit of this fajita mixture left over, of course you can just have it for lunch tomorrow. Or, a great idea is to mix it in with some scrambled eggs in the morning. Chop it up a little bit smaller and you could have breakfast burrito. Okay, some more cheese. And we are all the way to the top. And what I am going to do, just in case we have some bubbling out over the top, I am going to put something underneath this when I bake it. 350 for about 20 minutes. Everything is already cooked. The beans were hot. My chicken and steak fajita mixture was hot. So we really are just heating everything up and melting the cheese. Now for the very last one, I'm going to use the smallest size biscuit cutter, like so, and just press down in, trying to get it kind of over the filling, like so. And I suppose if you take your time, you could make that look all nice and pretty there. Okay, there it is. That did not take very long at all. So all of this together, I would say, would probably take about 45 minutes. Little bit of time just to make your chicken, your steak, and your pepper mixture. Literally, the beans took about 3 to 5 minutes to heat up, and if you already had your cheese shredded, that would be ready to go. So really putting this together would take no time at all. You could probably do this the day before or the morning, and when you get home from work, pop it in the oven, and in a half hour you would have dinner. So in just a second, we'll put that in the oven. A couple more things I want to point out before I leave you, because of course when you have something fajita-ish, you want some homemade guacamole to go with it, right? So in the end, this is just fresh avocado, on sale today at Trader Joe's. Yay, they were only 50 cents a piece, which in Michigan is a big deal. Fresh lime, fresh garlic, and salt. At that point, I use my mix and chop because I like mine a little bit chunkier. And then we have some mix-ins, which let me grab. We're going to take some, I did use my food chopper for my tomatoes today. A lot of times I use my manual food processor, but my tomatoes were super ripe. I had them sitting here for quite some time, and so I used my food chopper to chop them up. It only took about 4 chops, and I had perfect tomatoes. Some fresh cilantro, and I have some fresh jalapeno chopped, and chopped onion. Okay, and there is going to be our homemade guacamole, which I think will be a wonderful addition to those fajitas. And then the last thing that also just took a few moments to put together, I have some of that very same chopped tomato, and in the manual food processor, which we already have going, I have the additional ingredients, which is green pepper, onion, fresh cilantro, some fresh jalapeno, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of cumin, and fresh lime juice, of course. So this goes on. I have it all nice and mixed. If you made a nice small batch, you could fit everything right in here and then serve it right out of here as well. So now this will get added to my already chopped tomato, and we also have fresh salsa ready to serve along with the fajitas. we'll be back with you in just about 20 minutes and we'll let you know how it all turns out. Thank you. Well, welcome back. Here we are about 25 minutes later, and this is our fajita lasagna. Doesn't that look gorgeous? We'll comment and let you know how it tastes, which I just can't imagine it's not delicious. In the center we have a little sour cream, a little fresh cilantro. We are going to serve it this evening, as I mentioned, with some homemade guacamole, fresh salsa. We have some fresh vegetables, and for dessert we're just going to have some fresh fruit this evening. If we want to add a little cilantro to whatever we're making, I just want to show you this. This is our new herb mill, and the way this guy works, the rubber comes off the bottom. We just have some cilantro in there, and with just a twist, it just gives you perfectly chopped fresh herb, whatever you're using. So this is our dinner for this evening. Again, we used one of our brand new products that will be available September 1st. And if you are interested in seeing more of our new catalog, just reach out to me in the comments and I'll send you a brand new catalog. Or better yet, how about if I come and cook with you and your friends this fall? Thank you so very much. Have a great evening.